Hi friends, welcome to the next video. I'm glad to see you here. Today we're doing part 8 of the KOTLC during COVID series called Quarantine. So let's get started. Sophie Foster. So, as it turned out, Sophie did have corona. She was stuck in her house to avoid giving it to her friends, and in her room to avoid giving it to Grady and Edelyn. Panda and Iggy kept her company, and she was in tons of Zoom calls, but she couldn't help feel a little jealous as Bianna told her what she and Lynn were doing after they'd been tested negative. Fitz, Tam, and Dex were also negative, but Keith still hadn't gotten his test back yet. Silently, Sophie fretted that Keith would test positive. After all, they had kissed only a month or two before she got sick, and sure enough, one night as she was trying to sleep like normal people did, her phone buzzed and Keith had sent a single message. Positive. Coming over. Sophie narrowed her eyes and looked around the room, coughing slightly. Her head was pounding and she felt like she was going to puke. She really didn't feel like seeing Keith, but at the same time... She jumped as her window slid open and Keith dropped in, closing it silently. He turned and grinned sheepishly at her and Sophie groaned, though it sounded more like a broken garbage disposal. Keith squinted as he got closer and grimaced. Wow, Foster, you look bad. Sophie coughed. Thanks, I really appreciate it. Keith shuffled closer. I'm sorry, I just meant your lips are blue. Sophie touched her lips and sighed. I know, it's horrible. I think I have all the symptoms times 10. Keith chuckled. That sucks. Yes it does. They stood there awkwardly. So, why'd you come over? Sophie asked, forcing herself to sit up a little more. Keith smirked. Hey, you said I could drop in whenever I wanted. Sophie gave him a look. That didn't answer my question. She stared him down until he laughed. Okay. My goodness, if I didn't know you couldn't hear my thoughts, I'd... Is that a reference to the original series? Sophie snorted. You think I'd heard your thoughts? Wow, such use of grammar. Hey, your words, not mine. Sophie rolled her eyes. There you go, avoiding the question again. Seriously, Keith, is it in your parents? Sophie shook his head, shuffling a bit closer. No, I haven't seen them much since my test came back in. I came over because I felt like maybe since we both have COVID, we could, I don't know, hang out together a little more. Sophie smiled. I mean, sure, you just gotta convince Grady to let you. You're not keeping me up every night. Keith laughed, sitting down gingerly on the side of the bed. I have a feeling it's gonna be a no. Sophie nodded in agreement and coughed again. Okay, how is it that you have none of the symptoms? She asked. Keith shrugged. I mean, I do. I have a fever, some serious fatigue, and shortness of breath. But other than that, nothing really. Sorry. Sophie half smiled. It's not your fault. I mean, I probably gave it to you when we, Keith flushed. Nah, that was months ago. It takes like 2 weeks for the symptoms to show. He hesitated. I've been meaning to ask you about that, though. The symptoms? Sophie asked hopefully. Keith shook his head. The other thing. Sophie fell silent. She was half tempted to tell Keith she had a horrible headache, which wouldn't be a lie, and ask him to leave. But they'd have to talk about it sometime, and she kind of missed how unawkward it had been before. Okay, what about it? She asked finally. Keith stared at the window. I don't know, I didn't get the wrong message, did I? Sophie shook her head. No, I actually like you, she mumbled, feeling her face heat up more than it already had. Keith was quiet. What's wrong? Did I make you uncomfortable? Sophie considered saying no for half a second. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, I wasn't expecting you to say it so quickly. What, that I love you? Sophie nodded, forgetting to breathe as Keith took her hand. But it's true. I've wanted to say that to you since I first saw you. Sophie closed her eyes, trying to calm her racing heart. Oh, this can't be healthy for someone who has a fever. And Keith sighed. I know, I'm just making it worse. Maybe it would help if we had a little time to think about it. Sophie looked at the ground and nodded. Yeah, that would help. Keith looked at her with eyes that seemed filled to the brim with sadness as he got up, gently letting go of Sophie's hand. Guess I'll see you later then. Keith gave Sophie a small wave before climbing back out the window and into the night. Sad so Keith. Sorry if that was loud. I'm just sad right now. I really, this was so... This made me sad. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe and click the bell button to get notified when I post new videos. And happy watching. Bye!